how did you guys end up working through that together?
Yeah, I think she finally well, I guess, like, she knows that obviously it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing, it's a positive thing, it's something that's important to me, and if it's important to me, she was like, "Okay, look, it's important to you, it's great." But also, I think, at some point in this career, in this journey, in this story together, it propelled me to get to a position where I was like, "I'm gonna quit my job and follow my passion."
Welcome back to Sweat, Strategy, and Success, the podcast where we break down the mindset, habits, and strategies behind transformation, resilience, and success. Today's episode is all about change, discipline, and redefining what's possible. And to dive into that, I'm joined by none other than Logan Delgado, aka Goody Beats. If you've ever felt stuck, doubted your ability to change, or just needed that extra push to take action, this episode is for you. Because transformation isn't just about the body, it's about the mind, the environment, and the choices we make every single day. So let's get into it. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Sweat, Strategy, and Success. Today we have the incredible Logan Delgado with us, also known as Goody Beats. Logan has 115K followers on Instagram, 153K on YouTube, and 114K TikTok followers. He shares his journey from being overweight and a type 2 diabetic to living a well-rounded, healthy lifestyle, including being a dad, co-founder of a health tech company called Biotech, and staying not only fit, but strong.
Yes.
Logan, you have had an incredible journey, but I do want to start at the beginning. You talk about being overweight in your 20s, but I'm curious if growing up you also struggled with maintaining your weight.
Yeah, no, I actually didn't. I was pretty active as a child, as a young boy, as growing up in Texas, like, sports, football's everything down here. It's almost like your second religion. And so I played all types of sports growing up. Really stuck to football. It was like one of my big passions. I love football. I'm still a huge football fan today. And so playing football all year round, especially here in Texas. Even when the season's not going on, you're exercising or you're working out. The coaches have you doing some type. And when you're a kid, like, you're trying every sport. So you're going into football, then you're going into basketball, and then you're going into track, and then you do the summer program, and then right back to football. So you're constantly staying active. So I never dealt with weight issues or health issues when I was a youth. It wasn't until after high school when all that's done with, right? Because no more football unless you're really good. Then you go play collegiate. And but I mean, I obviously I wasn't that good. So after high school, it was pretty much the whole, like, athletics and having your childhood revolving around sports, that all ends, and that is where my weight issues started. But I will say this: um, growing up as a kid, we knew nothing about nutrition. Like, I knew nothing about eating healthy. Zero. I mean, absolutely zero. I ate the most horrible things when I was a kid, as probably most kids nowadays, right? I mean, hot Cheetos, ramen, double cheeseburgers, a chips and sandwich at 3 o'clock in the morning on a summer night. Just eating really bad. But I got away with it because I was so active as a kid. And like I said, after high school, it all catches up to you as you quickly become an adult.
Yeah. Really quick, what is your football team?
Oh, come on, Cowboys! I'm from Texas, America's team. Easy. It's America. We're America, so it's America's team. Yeah, no, I'm a huge Cowboys fan. I'm a huge Texas Longhorn fan. Huge basketball Spurs fan. Yeah, those are like my three
All
main.
Texas.
All
You're a
Texas, yes,
Texas boy.
yes, all my teams.
Oh man, I'm a Broncos fan. Grew up in Colorado, but it's like so unfortunate though is even within our internal family, we have Cowboys fans.
Yeah, that's good. That's good because not everybody's on the dark side. No, I like the Broncos. My uncle's a huge Broncos fan, so obviously the Cowboys never make it anywhere. So every time we're knocked out, we're like, oh, my uncle likes the Broncos, so we kind of go for them.
So we root for the Broncos, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how we jump around too. We have a family member who is a really big Bills fan, like diehard Bills fan, and so it was so fun watching the game last weekend. But it was like so devastating at the same
Right.
time. But yeah, you kind of like bandwagon onto other football teams.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. 100%. And, growing up, I was the opposite, of football. I was a cheerleader growing up,
Mhm.
and, you're right, it just kind of was a part of my daily life. I never really had to worry about it, and yet I was also still, eating all the junk food that came with growing up and, whatever that may be, Rice Krispie treats or the shitty stuff that they give you in school, even because God knows that we do not provide our children with sufficient nutrition in schools.
Yeah.
But I never really had to worry about it until I got into college and started to learn that, like, oh, like now I actually kind of have to take care of myself and have to start eating healthy again. And I felt like it also was dependent on who I was spending my time with and what they were doing also. So in your life, have you determined that where you are is dependent on the inspiration that you have for living a healthy life?
1,000%. Because if it wasn't for being around a certain person that I met at work, I probably wouldn't have got started for sure.
Mm,
So that was, yeah, like out of high school, just hanging out with your friends, hanging out with your college friends. Like everyone's kind of busy doing, going through their own lives, their own struggles, their own, course through life. And so nutrition wasn't a big part, working out wasn't a big part of it. So I kind of just slowly was killing myself, right? Eating fast food every single day, drinking all the time because you're a young college kid and you drink, and getting little to no sleep, right? So you add those three combinations for multiple years, really devastated me. But it wasn't until I got, I started a position with a local government here in my town, and I met my boss. His name was Clint Garza, and he was a huge inspiration in my life, a major chapter, you would say, in my life. He was much older than me. He was in great shape. I was in charge of one of his departments. He ran five departments, still worked out, still ate clean, had a kid like me. And actually, he had a kid. I didn't have kids at the time, and I was like, how is this guy able to work out and be fit? And he has way more responsibility than I do. He's running five departments. He's got a child and he's older than me. What is going on? Like, why can't I do it? I have one kind of technically one job and no kids. Like, I should have all the time in the world to do what I need to do. And so watching him really inspired me, and I was like, okay, if he can do it, I have no excuse. I need to be doing it. So then I started going to the gym. I went to end up going to the same gym as he did, and I would see him in there and say, hey, how you doing? He's my boss at the time, so I'd just like, hey, what's up? And over time, seeing each other every single day at that same time, we kind of like created this bond. He was like, hey, man, why don't you work out with me? Okay, sorry. He's like, I need a gym partner. I need a spot. And so that's how we kind of started our relationship. We started working out together, and then over the next 5 years, we became best friends. And that guy got me to do things that I never would have imagined. He got me to do my first and ever, my first and last ever marathon, which was like crazy, right? Like even to this day, like I can't believe I ran this marathon, and not only ran it but trained for it. I mean, the day of the marathon race, I know this sounds crazy, but it was easy. The marathon day was easy. The 16 weeks or however long it was brutal. Was absolutely brutal. The training, we would have to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning to do these runs because you can't do them after work. It's too hot. And so and it's running these as the miles go up and up, you're running 16, 17, 18, 19 mile runs. Well, that's like 3 hours, 2 hours, right? So you got to do it before work. Well, you got to do that. You got to get up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. So we'd be running like in the middle and like early morning on like these country back roads. Absolutely brutal, but it really made the day of the race easy. So, needless to say, if I wouldn't have met him and been around him, he wouldn't have inspired me to start my fitness journey. So, yes, 1000%, being around people that can help motivate you, inspire you, is so important. And that's like goes to say is, you know, if you're hanging around negative people, guess what? You're going to have negativity in your life. If you hang around smart, positive, entrepreneurial people, it's going to rub off on you and you'll be the same. So I'm always a huge believer of being aware of who you let in your circle, who you hang around with, right? And separating yourself from those toxic, negative people that are just not going to do anything healthy for your life.
Mm. Yeah, and, did this person for you spark some kind of emotion that encouraged you to work out? Like, what was that emotion that you initially felt that decided to change your view on creating a healthier lifestyle?
Yeah, it was taking a step back and looking at everything. It wasn't just one thing. Yes, he was a huge part of it, but there are also like these macro things that just as much emotionally play a role. So when I got this new position, um, I needed to buy pants, right? Like I was like, okay, I need some new work pants. Like, start a new job, you got to get some new work attire. And I was like, okay, I got to go get some pants. And I remember I went into the dressing room and got some pants, and I remember I got like a size 40, which is pretty big for me. I'm only 5'6". I'm a small guy, so size 40 is really big. I know for like the average guy, they'd be like, dude, that's not a big size. For me, this little guy I am, it is. So I remember I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm a size 40. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is wild. Um, I was like, dude, this is not good. Like, this is how did this happen? And I remember I took a picture in that dressing room, and it's like one of my most iconic transformational pictures. As far as like, I always use that picture in the dressing room because I always feel like that was like day one. Because when I took that picture, I was like, okay, I'm taking this picture because this is going to be like my my trans. This is going to be like my go-to picture to look back on. Um, and that from that sparked it. But there was another thing that like if Clint was the gasoline and the dressing room was the logs, this was the spark. This is what ignited it. And I've shared this story many times. I feel like I've shared this story on 100 podcasts that I've done because this question always gets asked, what inspired me. And I was on Facebook, and you know how Facebook will recommend friends to you? Like, hey,
Mm.
you have so and so common with this person. Like, maybe
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
each
yeah.
other. And so this guy popped up. It was this guy in the gym. It was like that, flexing. And it was, well, my wife now, it was her ex boyfriend in high school that popped up, right?
Tea.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I don't want to be friends with this guy. And like here I am, like in the worst shape of my life, right? Just freshly off taking that picture, not feeling good about myself, and then seeing him with his shirt off in the gym flexing. And I'm like, I am not gonna let this guy look better than me. And I know that sounds like very like narcissistic or whatever you want to call it, right? Like it's definitely not a positive emotion to get started on, but what people always have known me as is like positivity, right? And being positive is like I took that negative factor and turned it into something positive. And so that
Mm.
really, and from that point on, I know I went crazy. Like I screenshotted that picture because like you can't click on it because you're not his friend,
Uh-huh.
but you just open it up just a little bit and stretch it out, but big enough to like, kind of make out what it is. The pixels are all crummy. And I put it as a screensaver on my phone. And that motivated me when days were like, I do not want to eat healthy. I don't want to eat less food. I would look at my phone and be like, yes, I do. I'll do it. I don't want to go to the gym today. Boom, look at my phone. Yeah, I do. Right. So that really sparked it. So all those three things really just sparked my whole fitness journey. If it wasn't for Clint, the guy I was telling you about, he's the one that introduced me to the ketogenic diet. I would not have that plaque right there that you had behind me, that I have behind me, if it wasn't for starting my YouTube channel on the ketogenic diet. Because when I started the ketogenic diet, it was like the newest thing. Like no one had ever heard, like, what the hell? You're eating fat and losing fat? How is this possible? Right? I thought butter was bad for you. I thought steak is bad for you. I thought fats are bad for you. No, it's not. And so that really jump started my social media career. And at the time when he put me on the ketogenic diet, he didn't call it the ketogenic diet. He just said, here's a meal plan, follow this plan. Cool, I did it. It just so happened to be a ketogenic meal plan. And it wasn't until
Mm.
like I'm like 10 weeks in and I'm in like the best shape of my life. I've never looked this good. I've never had abs. I've never had, muscular body. And he was like, "Yeah, you did it through the ketogenic diet." And I was like, "What? Cool. Like this is interesting. I'm going to talk about it on my YouTube channel." And it just from there just blew up. Like it just catapulted my social media career.
That's great. Just real quick, can you explain what a ketogenic diet? I know you touched on it a little bit, but what is a ketogenic diet for people who are listening?
Yeah, so there's two types of the ketogenic diet in my opinion. There's a therapeutic ketogenic diet which was developed like in the early 1900s. Can't tell you the guy that developed it, but it was originally developed for kids with epilepsy, right?
Mm,
It would help or help people with epilepsy. But also the side effects were that they would lose body fat. And so I think people took that, a lot of old school bodybuilders took that data and started incorporating it into their cut, into their bodybuilding shows. And it really like sparked this movement. And so the ketogenic diet is a low carb, high fat diet. And essentially your body can run off of two sources of energy, which is your most common, which is glucose, carbs, right? Most people run off carbs. Your second source is ketones, which are created when you have depleted your glycogen storage. So if you're only eating, 50 grams of carbs, you're going to go through that through half the day, right? Your body's just going to use up those carbs through just everyday things that you do. Well, then once it's depleted and you're eating a high fat diet, steak, avocado, eggs, olive oil, your body will start converting those fats into ketones. And essentially, what the ketogenic diet will do for people, it will give them a just an increased amount of energy because when you eat carbs, your blood sugar is doing this. It's like a roller coaster, up,
mm,
down, up, down, up, down. And what happens is that your body can never go into like a fat burning mode. It's just always coming up and down, up and down. You want to have a steady blood sugar, steady glucose reading for for um for weight loss, and that is what the ketogenic diet does because you're eating fats. Fats are very low glycemic. They're not going to spike your blood sugar. Yeah, protein and fats will spike it a little bit, but nothing like what carbs will, right? And when you are severely overweight and you have eaten really bad, like how I was back in my day, if I eat carbs, my blood sugar was so bad, I had insulin resistance. So, what carbs would do to me now, like if I eat carbs now, they're not going to do anything because I got a lot of muscle, right? Muscle is like a sponge, it sucks it up. It really helps stabilize your blood sugar. Me back then, who didn't lift, who ate horrible, had no sleep, um, if I ate a little bit of carbs, my blood sugar would spike like crazy, which is why I was a diabetic, right? And back
mm,
then, I didn't know what that meant. I was like, okay, I'm a diabetic, diabetes. I don't even know what that means. Like, okay, now it all makes sense, right? So that is what essentially the ketogenic diet does. Your ketogenic diet does. You're just essentially switching energy sources, which comes with all these other benefits to it.
mm. Oof. Oh my goodness. Well,
A
that
lot.
sounds like a lot to remember, but
It
it
is.
sounds also helpful, and I think that's what the most important thing is here is that you found it helpful for your own journey from weight loss to what you consider healthy.
Yes,
Is
exactly.
that correct?
And I wanna make this very clear. I don't do the ketogenic diet anymore. I
Oh,
don't.
interesting. Okay.
Even though there are many benefits to the ketogenic diet, not just for weight loss. Forget the weight loss, like just blood sugar, cholesterol, your mental clarity, energy level, sleep. There's just so many other benefits than just weight loss with the ketogenic diet. But I don't do it anymore just because I'm not in that like mindset of I need to lose weight. Right? I
Mm,
need to do this. I need to do that. I think I've really turned my life around and have created a really good foundation that I'm able to eat whatever I want and it doesn't hurt me because I have built such a good foundation of muscle, of a routine of like I work out 5 days a week. So, like I'm going to be at the gym. I do cardio. I'm very active with my kids. So, I'm able to do those things. But what I always tell people is like, if you're at the beginning of your journey, why don't you try out the ketogenic diet, see how it works? You don't have to do it forever, but let's get you into a healthier situation, and then you can start incorporating those foods back again.
mm. And you were talking about once you had started the ketogenic diet and you started working out with who ultimately became your best friend, that you looked at yourself and you said, wow, this is the best shape that I've ever been in my entire life. You started from jealousy and this fire because of
Yeah,
your
envy. Yep.
wife's ex boyfriend. And now you're at this other place. What was that emotion you felt when you looked at yourself in the mirror then?
Oh, I felt great. I felt good, and people would say, like, "Oh, you got big headed," or "Oh, you're conceited." Now it's like, no, I'm proud. I'm proud. I am. I feel accomplished. I feel like I've done something that not many people can do, and it's not easy, as everybody knows, right? It's hard, and it's not something that you can go buy. It's not something that you can go study for, or go get a degree, or inherit it, or your parents pass it down, or someone gives it to you. No, you have to earn it. That is the only way to receive this. And so I felt proud, and yeah, I flaunted my shirt off as much as I could because I just like I've never looked this way. So I was like, I feel good. It's almost like Eddie Murphy, right? In that one movie. It just felt good. Like I really did. I felt proud and just so accomplished.
Yeah, and that's a great feeling, if we could all, feel that all the time, and I think that's kind of what you want your followers, the people who are interested in your content and following along with your story, that's also what you want them to feel.
Exactly. I think this is what I always talk about is that yes, people follow me because they want to lose weight, right? They see my transformation, they want their own transformation. But what I always tell my clients and what I always tell my followers is don't focus on what the scale says because the scale is just a small, little bitty piece of this massive puzzle, which is your life. And it's only showing this snapshot, but it doesn't tell you all the other things, right? That you have boosted your confidence, you've boosted your mood levels, you're happy, you're proud, your blood sugar levels are better, you're reversing your insulin resistance, you're reversing your type 2 diabetes. You're doing all these things that a scale doesn't say, even though I know as a society we're so fixated on what's the number on the scale. But but my transformation, the biggest thing that it did for me is it gave me my confidence again. And that's
Mm.
something you cannot put a price on.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I want to touch base a little bit on your relationship. And I had was listening to another podcast not too long ago that was with a divorce lawyer. And
Uh,
he was saying that people who get together and have some sort of addictive behavior together, usually
mhm,
that's like drinking or eating or something along those lines. When you start doing that, when one person stops, you're more
mhm.
likely to get a divorce because you created a relationship that was based on that addictive behavior, whatever it may be. When you met your wife, were you at the point where you were overweight? Was it before then, or when did you meet your wife?
Yeah, so I actually met my wife when we were pretty young. We grew up together. We were in the same grade. I mean, we were in the same class together.
Mm,
So right, like we graduated. I'm gonna give my age away. We graduated. We both graduated '05. So we knew each other for a long time, and we dated off and on. But it didn't get serious till like obviously after high school.
mm,
Um, so I feel like even the first time I met her, like, we're kids, like, right? Like, we're in middle school, we're in junior high hanging out. We're all friends, right? So, it's really strange to, like, think about it now. It's like, man, we knew each other in, like, so many different phases in our life, right?
mm.
And, it's kinda funny, like, I I can say this now because she's in great shape, like, she's really turned her life around. We both got big together. Right?
Mm.
Like we 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 really got like if you go back and look at our wedding photos, like you'd be like, "Who are you two?" But you know, through my fitness journey, she didn't get into fitness like I did. She just cleaned up her eating and really got like into like intermittent fasting, just cleaned up the way she ate. Um, but it definitely did put a strain for sure, right? Because there was a point in my fitness career where I was obsessed. Like I had to go to the gym at least twice a day, in there for 2 hours. The gym was everything. It was everything. YouTube was everything. So yeah, it definitely put a strain because like me and my wife are definitely opposite. Like I am an extrovert. I'm like very much put me in a room full of strangers, we'll come out best friends. I'm very much loud, entertaining. I'm the like, the let's freaking go guy. My wife's very quiet, very timid, does not want the attention, does not want, any of that. So it definitely put a strain for sure in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's why I bring up the what this divorce lawyer had said, because I was so interested at that point when you started to really work out and you started to take care of yourself and going to the gym and caring about what was putting on your body. I was interested in, you know, what happened to relationships, because I feel as though a lot of people who may have who may be right now in the same exact situation that you were, and they can envision a life for themselves that's beyond it, but they have a partner, you know.
Yeah.
And what if that partner doesn't agree with this
Yeah.
life? What if this partner doesn't want to do this with me? Did you have any conversations together about what that may have looked like moving forward?
Yeah, we had conversations because there would be times where she would be struggling with something and I would say, "Hey, well, why don't you just try?" It's funny, like it's probably annoying to her, but I was like, "Why don't you try keto? Like everything's keto, right? Like I have a headache. Why don't you try keto? I don't feel good. Why don't you try keto? I don't have enough energy. Why don't you try keto? Like everything's like keto, right?" So she'd be like, "Shut up! I don't want to do keto. Like I'm not going to do it." Um, yeah, we had conversations for sure, but also like and I know I don't know. Are you married?
No, no, no.
Okay, so I'll say this for married couples that are listening, and for people that are not, you'll one day understand this. For some reason, and I've seen this many times. You can be an expert at anything, like your husband or wife, whatever, can be an expert at something, but for some reason you don't want to take their advice. You rather get it from someone else, even though you are the two exact same thing. It's hard to like take orders or take advice or I don't know, be coached by your spouse. I don't know why that is because I would have her friends messaging me like, "Hey, can you coach me?" Or her friend's husband's like, "Hey, can you coach me?" And they're going through her to get contact with me, right? And I'm like, "You see that I'm helping people. Why can't you come to me and ask for help?" But it just wouldn't, she would rather go with like a girl trainer or something or someone she found online or someone she follows on Instagram, right?
Mm.
So it's like this really weird dynamic. I can't explain what it is, but um yeah, it's kind of like a weird situation, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, the best way that I can maybe relate to this is driving. Oh my gosh. With my ex-boyfriend, we used to drive and he'd be like, "Oh, get over now," and I'd be like, why are you talking to me?"
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
he knows how to drive too, but he would tell me how to do something in the car, and I'd be like, "I literally know how to drive, like, why are you"
exactly.
like, "Why are you saying this to me?" And so, I mean, how did you guys end up working through that together?
Yeah, I think she finally, well, I guess, like, she knows that obviously it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. It's a positive thing. It's something that's important to me. And if it's important to me, she was like, okay, look, it's important to you. It's great. But also, I think, you know, at some point in this career, in this journey, in this story together, it propelled me to get to a position where I was like, I'm going to quit my job and follow my passion, right? And it's like that saying, like, when you follow your passion, the money will come. When you stop following your passion and you're just chasing a paycheck, that's when, you're unhappy, right? And so, I got to a position where I was like, I'm gonna, like, I love this. Like, I wake up every day wanting to do this, and I got to have a opportunity to quit, and it was definitely scary, but have a career and take care of my family. At the time, she wasn't working. We had kids. We had a daughter, and we had two kids through that journey. And it wasn't until recently, she just recently went back to work. But yeah, she saw, like, hey, it's supporting us. It makes us happy. I'm happy. It's kind of like, it was like a compromise for sure. But I think it took time, right, for her to see that, because she's probably like, or like most people, like, what are you doing? Like, this is like, you're taking time away from your responsibilities. But then you see how happy it makes me, and it's supporting us, and it's letting us do things that we never got to do, right? And giving us opportunities that we would never have. That it was like, I think she was like, okay, this is great. Like, I could be on board with this.
Yeah. I was watching a video that you had created, and I think you posted it on TikTok. And you said something that I'm just like not really used to hearing, and I thought it was very inspirational. And I'm just going to repeat it really quick. It's really
Okay.
quick. You said the best gift you can give your family is a healthy you.
Mhm.
When you said this, what do you mean? Can you give me some more
Yeah,
insight into this?
yeah. I've said that for so many years. I've said that, and you know, I had a great childhood. I really did. Like, my parents, amazing. My dad is a real life Superman. My mom is like a real life Mother Teresa. The two best parents, and they gave me everything they possibly could. Right. Um, but I always, like, there was always, like, we weren't, like, we weren't poor, but we weren't well off, right? And there was always things like other kids would get, and you would see those things, and you're like, oh, I wish I had those shoes. Oh, I wish I had that PlayStation. Oh, I wish I had that bike, right? But I knew, like, never to ask my parents, because I see how much it was a struggle for them, right, financially. Um, and so, like, I remember, like, when I got older and started doing really well, I was like, I'm gonna buy my kids all these things, whatever they want. But then, I started to think about things like what truly is important, right? And you can give your kids, you can give your loved one, you can give your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, whoever means the world to you, all these materialistic things, but none of that matters, right? The best gift that you can give them is a healthy you, because that gives them more time with you. What's what's the most important thing? It's time, right? Time, time, time. Something we cannot get back, right? We cannot get back this hour. We cannot get back this day. And so it's so important on what we do with our time, and being able to be here for our loved ones and giving them a healthy you, in my opinion, is just the best gift that you can give your loved ones. And it really, that mentality really came when I had kids, right? Because who knows if I would have continued down that path that I started when I was 20. I'm now 38. That's 18 years ago. It's crazy. Feels like 3 years ago. But if I never would have changed my life, um, who knows if I'd still be here, right? Who knows if I would even be able to have kids? There's same saying. It's the same saying that goes with the scale. Insulin resistance is a huge issue. It's the starting point to many issues that go on with people. And one of the big things is you can't have kids. For women, insulin resistance is the root cause to PCOS. So who knows if I'd even have my two beautiful girls if I never would have changed my life, let alone be here. So it's one of those things where, yeah, I've said that so many times. Like you parents, dads, I'm a father, so I really relate to a lot of fathers. It's like I tell them, dads, come on, do it for your kids. Be the example. Show them the importance of exercising. Show them the importance of eating healthy. Do it for yourself. Do it for your kids. It's the best gift.
Mm, yeah, that's really great. Thank you for sharing that with me, Logan. You know, this may be a poor example, but have you ever read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad?
I haven't. I've. It's been on my list for sure.
But you
Yeah,
know it.
yeah,
You've heard of
yes,
it. Very
yes.
popular, okay. The whole point of that book is about finances, but I kind of want to turn it around and relate it to what you're talking about right now. Like unhealthy dad and healthy dad, you know?
Yes, I had to make
And
you
am
give me an idea.
I giving you ideas?
Yes, yes.
And having a healthy dad and having an unhealthy dad is two very different life experiences. Having a healthy mom and an unhealthy mom are two very different life experiences, especially for children. And, learning what is healthy and what is not. And, healthy can be so much more than just eating healthy foods or working out every day. Healthy is, doing the things that you enjoy and spending time with your family, spending time doing art or creativity things that, you enjoy doing that fulfills like who you are. Healthy can be so much more than that. And being able to show that to your kids is just so unbelievably important. I know that as a kid, you know that as a kid, you know that as a father. And I'm just, the reason why I'm kind of getting into this a little bit is because I know that there's so many people out there, parent, not parent, we're all kids to somebody,
Mhm.
right? Kids who have watched their parents, whoever they may be. And I know that people are out there saying, man, I just wish I had, I wish my mom was healthy. Not even just for me, but for herself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
I've 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 seen it personally. I've seen those stories personally. I've had one of my best friends, unfortunately lost his mom, but that last year, man, man, did he try. Man, did he try every day. Come on, mom, let's go. Let's just go for a walk. Come on, mom, just let's not get this. Let's just eat this. You know, tried every day to save her life. And it's one of those things, right? And that goes back to what I talked about earlier about feeling proud of what I accomplished because it's so hard in the grand scheme of things. Like, and I tell you what I did, people are like, "That's not hard. Anybody can do that. I can go work out. I can eat some chicken and some rice and not eat fast food." But it's not. It's hard. It's every single day. It's consistency, and so yeah, and healthy, you're right. Healthy looks different for everybody, right? Um, but what's important for me is through my fitness journey, through going through this whole social media and fitness lifestyle, I've changed over the years, right? I started off, I was just a dad. I was just a husband. I was just a guy, a young guy. I would say I was in my younger 20s, man. Just full of energy in the gym, like, oh, what's up? Let's go. It's 2 days. Let's go 6 days a week. Now I'm getting up. I'm like, like old tree, just like, oh, all right, let's go to the gym. And I have kids now, right? So like this whole journey has a change for me. And what what I really want well, to inspire parents is like, hey, not only do it for yourself, but this is something I've learned. Your kids are watching you. Your kids are watching what you do every single day. And whether you like it or not, you're teaching them something. You're either teaching them to do something, you're either teaching them to show them that something is important, or you're doing the opposite, right? You're showing them that it's not important to eat healthy. It's not important to exercise. It's not important to be present. My parents, like, I'm just using an example. Like, if I'm a child, like, oh, my dad's just on his phone all the time. My mom's just on her phone all the time. You know, so guess what your kids are going to do? Just be on their tablets all the time. But if your dad's like, oh, my dad works out every day. Oh, he lets me come with him sometimes. Oh, I want to go work out. Like the way I look at things is I want my girls to know the importance of exercise. I want them to know that their daddy and mommy always, go to the gym and hang out. I want them to come with me. I try to bring them as often as I can without getting in people's way because, most gyms, kids are not allowed. The one that I do take them in is to our neighborhood gym. I always say, hey, bring your tablet just in case there's people in there. I don't want to get kicked out. I don't want to ruin other parents' workouts with my kids running around. But most of the time, no one's ever in there at night. And the reason why I do that is because I want them to feel comfortable in a gym, right?
Mm.
Most women, older women, especially my wife, when it was like pulling teeth to get her to finally come to the gym. And when she did come for the first time, she was so timid, so scared, so like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this okay? And I'm like, you're fine. Just get used to it, right? Just come in here, like do the machines that have the pictures on it that show you how to do it, right? And what body parts it's exercising.
Mm.
And even still, then she was like, can you come over here? Like, I feel like everyone's looking at me. I feel like I'm doing it wrong. And I'm like, dude, nobody cares. Everybody has a busy life. No one cares what you're doing. But I want my girls when they get older to just be like, I grew up in gyms. This is nothing to me. Like, get over here. Give me, where the 50s at? Give me those 50s. And just so that's another big reason why I get them to I even if I don't even like put them on a workout, I just get them to come with me, and I kind of let them just experiment on the machines because there's nothing in our gym that can like they can get hurt on. It's all
Mhm.
machine thing. But I let them like yeah, I'm like here, just put on a 5 plate and try it. Why don't you try the exercise? Do it. I want them to get comfortable. I don't want them to be intimidated of working out in the gym. Like most women when they first start off, right? If you'd probably be intimidated if you're like if to go into like a bodybuilding gym, right? You'd be like, oh, this is
For sure.
well, you got all these damn bodybuilders.
Yeah, I'd be like, "No, what the
Yeah.
f"
You'd be like, what is this? Or going to the free weight section, right?
Mhm.
Uh, I I I want my girls to be able to just be like, "Just get out of here. Hey, you're in my way. Get out of here. Move." Just trying to get my
Yeah.
lift up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about building their confidence, right?
Yeah.
That's another yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I can tell you from my own like, when I started going to the gym, um, I would go to the gym every once in a while when I was a teenager and my parents were like, "Oh, you want a whatever 24-hour fitness pass?" I would be like, "Sure," just
Yeah.
because it was something to get me, not because I wanted to work out or anything. It was just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, my parents are buying me something, so that's
Yeah.
awesome." And then I would never go. But
Yep.
then when I got into college was when I actually, like, really started getting into the gym more and exercising, and I always felt so embarrassed. I don't even know why, like, why would I even feel embarrassed being in the gym? And I did, it was like, "Oh, am I doing this wrong?" Like, is someone's gonna come up and tell me that I'm doing it wrong, and I'm gonna look like a fool right now. And to have that confidence in doing something that is so integral in our lives. I mean, you said you worked out 5 days a week, you know, and my mom, she works out very frequently as well, and that
Mhm.
took her, like, 40 years to get there because, we're as women, we're not taught to go into the gym and pick up that 50 and be like, "Get out of my way."
Yeah.
Like you said, uh-huh. And so
Yeah.
I mean, showing your kids that is just, like, so important, and there's just so many things that as parents, that just as people, we don't show our kids or people around us those difficult days either,
Right.
where, and I think that's what's important too is being, not every day has to be an easy day.
Yeah.
Some days are hard, and
Very.
we're gonna get through it, and we're gonna try our very best. For you, what do those days look like, those difficult days?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a lot of emotional fatigue, right? Because when you're young, and anybody who's listening to this that's young, please enjoy these young, how do I say, not stress free, but there's not too much or there's not as much responsibility on you, right? Especially when you have two little ones or children that are they're dependent on you, right? Right now it's just like, oh, I just got to worry about myself. That's really it. But when you actually have little humans that are your responsibility, there's a lot of emotional fatigue, right? It's like I got so much stuff going on at work. I got my kids are sick. My daughter's got a double ear infection. Just like it's like so many things are going wrong. The dog threw up, and I'm like, got to hurry up and get to the gym because I got to still get the girls some food. We still got to do their homework. We still got to take them a bath. It's like all these things, right? Like those are the hard moments, the hard times, or if you're hurt, tired, your back's hurt, whatever, um, that's going to happen. And in the beginning, when I first started, like I remember missing a day at the gym would depress me so bad. It would ruin my day. It would ruin my day. Now I'm at a point because I've been doing it for so long that like even if I miss 2 or 3 days, I'm totally fine. It's okay because I know I'm eventually going to go back, and this is no longer a diet or a 10-week workout plan. This is my life now. This is my lifestyle. So I know I'm gonna be okay. So that's how I look at things. I want to go back, and I thought you were gonna go here when you were talking about emotion and relationships. It's kind of something I want to talk about. 'Cause I think it's important. When I first started my weight loss journey, if I ate a cheat meal or ate something that was like junk food or relatable to what I used to eat when I
Mm,
was overweight, I would get super depressed. I would punish myself. I would get mad at myself. I had this horrible, horrible relationship with food. And like if I ate something, I'm like, oh, Logan, you're so stupid. Why did you eat that? You're going to get fat again. Oh, you better go do an hour of cardio now. And I would like punish myself and just go do that. And it took me years to get out of that mindset, that very damaged mindset. That now it's like I don't care what I eat. I can eat ice cream right now during this podcast. We'd be fine. Like I'm gonna go work out after this. Like it's okay. But I think it's important to talk about because I almost like I always say I still had that fat person inside me, like the old me, the old depressed, insecure, overweight, not happy about myself, ashamed. I still had that person inside, even though I had made this amazing transformation on the outside. That took longer to transform than the actual outside physical appearance.
mm. Yeah, such a good point. And how did you do that?
Yeah, I think it took years. I don't know why or how it happened. I just think over time I just finally was able to just let go of like, hey, it's all right. It's okay if you have a piece of pie. It's okay if you have some pizza. It's okay if you have a cheeseburger and fries. It's okay. Like, and then not only that, like doing it, and then like, oh wow, nothing changed. I'm okay. Like, wow, I didn't. I know it sounds stupid, but oh, I didn't go back to the old me. Um, for it to finally like let go and let loose. It's just yeah, it's just that mindset. It's just I don't know why, I don't know how, but just that I still had that same unhealthy mindset on the inside.
Mm. Yeah, and honestly, don't think it's stupid at all because I think a lot of people feel exactly that way. And
Mhm,
especially people who have a hard time keeping with something as well,
mhm, yeah,
right? People who kind of go through that flow of, overweight diet, underweight, overweight diet, that cycle, that especially as Americans, we get put into very frequently.
Yeah.
And if you had to say something to those people who are having that difficult time with, oh, like, I shouldn't have had that, croissant this morning, or I shouldn't have had that piece of cake, or even bites of cake, right? It can be so small. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say you need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. So the way that really helped me too is that okay, I ate like crap. I ate horrible, let's say from age 20 to age 26. There was no diet. There was no plan. I mean, I ate fast food, Little Caesars pizza, Chinese, drank, like everything, right? I ate horrible for 8 plus years. I now I now don't do that anymore, right? I've been doing this for forever, for how long? And I look at it now as like if I eat bad or eat that bite, eat that cake, whatever, eat that ice cream, that pizza, it's okay because I'm never going to go back to the old me, right? I'm going to continue to live this, conscious, healthy lifestyle, um, style of eating, and it's all going to balance out, right? It's like it's kind of hard to explain, but the way I look at it is like I'm going to eat healthy for 90% of my life. The other 10% will be whatever. Instead of how it used to be 90% of junk food, 10% accidentally ate something healthy that I probably didn't even know about, right? Like
Hmm.
um so I look at it that way. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And also um enjoy life, enjoy these moments. um for 3 years, for the first 3 years of my fitness journey, I didn't have a Thanksgiving. And what I mean by that is when it was Thanksgiving time, I was so stressed. I was eating turkey, the green beans, and stressing out if someone accidentally put something that would knock me out of ketosis, or something that had too many carbs, and not focusing on those memories, on the time, the Thanksgiving, holidays, Christmas are the time of the year where you get to see family members, and see family members that you probably haven't seen all year round, right? That they come from once a year from out of town, they fly in, and here I am thinking about macros and ketosis and carbs, and it's like, dude, just stop. Like one day is not going to make you fat, just like one day is not going to make you unhealthy. So, um, it's yeah, it's I just want to tell people. I always tell people that, like, hey, just focus on making memories, right? And 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 just realize that it's not going to be like this forever. It's just one day. Have fun, enjoy it, keep going.
Yeah. That's wonderful advice, and I think a lot of people are going to be able to learn from both this episode and your journey, Logan. I know that overall, this episode is about inspiration, getting inspiration to take care of, yourself so you
Yeah,
have a healthy family, take inspiration to start the things that you want to start, take inspiration to start building content about it too. I mean, at the end of the day, you took your journey and you turned it into 100. I need to look at this again. 115K followers on Instagram, 153K YouTube subscribers, 114K TikTok followers, because those people want to hear about, your journey and how they can better their lives, and you've just been doing an incredible job at it. I do have just one last question for you, Logan, before we jump off. And I just want to say thank you before this episode ends for being so open about your journey and talking to me about it. Um, if you could go back and tell yourself one thing when you were overweight, what would it be?
ooh, man, no one's ever asked me that. It's kind of on the spot, but I'm just going to just give you the first thing that comes to my head. Um, I think I would probably tell that person that, hey, what what you feel right now doesn't define you, right? It's not forever. It's not who you are. It's not what you have to be, is what I would tell myself. Because I think back then I had this mindset of letting my circumstances and letting the way that I felt dictate and made me believe that I'm that person, right? Like I felt ashamed. I felt, how did I let this happen? I'm worthless. I don't feel good about myself, so I'm nothing. And if I can go back and like this present day me go back and be like, bro, this this doesn't define you. How you feel doesn't have to be like this. You have a choice, and you can do it, man. There's pe- there's people that believe in you. I didn't know that then, but there's people that truly believe in you.
Hmm. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Logan. It has been such a pleasure talking with you about your journey. If anybody's interested in learning more about how to make a healthier lifestyle, especially as a parent, you can find Logan at Goody Beats. I actually have one more quick question for you, just because I was curious about this. Why did you call yourself Goody Beats?
Okay, yeah, it's a long story, but I'll make it short. Again,
Okay.
another story that I've told many times on many podcasts. So in my early days in college, I wanted to be a producer. I was a huge fan of Kanye West. If you know Kanye West, his story, he started off as a producer, then a rapper. I loved what how his journey started, and so I wanted to get into into that aspect of it. And then also at the same time, a group of friends that we all lived in this apartment, we wouldn't say what's up. We'd be like, "What's goody?" Meaning like, yo,
Mm.
like what's good for the night? Like, yo, what are we getting into? What are we doing? So like we were just like that's all we said, like all of us roommates, like even dudes that like my friends wouldn't even live there. They just walk in like, yo, what's goody? Like, what are we gonna do? What are we getting into tonight? And so I wanted to make beats. We always said what's goody. And so I was like, Goody Beats, that could be my name. And then it just literally stuck. Like, has nothing to do with fitness, has nothing to do with anything. And I still use that name to this day on anything I make, any new account I make that is presented and you have to make a username, I just put Goody Beats. So,
Awesome.
yep.
Well, that's an awesome story, and I'm so happy you've kept it all these years. If I had to keep the username that I created when I was a child, I would be Sunshine Rocker still, so
Nice. There you go. There you go. That is awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Logan. It has been a pleasure, and, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, no
Thank you so
problem. Thank
much.
you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of
Bye.
course. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Sweat, Strategy, and Success. Logan Delgado's journey is a powerful reminder that transformation isn't just physical, it's mental, emotional, and about the choices we make every single day. From battling type 2 diabetes to becoming a fitness inspiration, his story proves that with discipline, self belief, and the right mindset, real change is possible. If this conversation resonated with you, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs a little extra motivation. You never know whose life it might impact. For more insights on success, mindset, and health, connect with me on LinkedIn, TikTok, or Instagram. And be sure to follow Logan at Goody Beats for more inspiration. As always, keep pushing, keep evolving, and keep showing up for yourself. I'll catch you next Wednesday.